It's time for another episode of the Orange Crush podcast. Rachel Vigil, Cody Roark, plenty to talk about in terms of Broncos. They're back from London. Marvin Mims says that he's feeling better. It was easier coming back than it was going out there. We look ahead to this Giants team. What stood out to you yesterday about either practice or about open locker room, Cody?
Dre Greenlaw's back. I like that. Broncos fans, I know Broncos fans have been frustrated. They haven't seen Dre yet. I'm just excited to see him on the field. Now, is that going to be against the Giants this weekend? I'm not sure. They activated his 21-day window, but he was out there. He was limited, and I think we're looking forward to maybe today finding out, does he go from limited to full? If that's the case, then he'll probably make his debut on Sunday.
Listen, we always listen to what other players have to say, right? Like, I don't even think they're trying to give us, like, inside details. I think they're just being open and honest. But when Nick Bonito said that he is foaming at the mouth to get out there, and he said this will be the perfect week for him to do it, I was like, do you know something I don't know, Nick? So I think it would be exciting. I always love when they give you those little tidbits. And I know he's just being totally honest, but I was like, okay, so is this the week? He's ready. He's hopefully going to be healthy. What does Dre bring, though, to this Broncos defense? Because they're already so stellar.
Yeah, look, I'm excited. Like, we already know how good this defense is. Adding Dre Greenlaw back into the mix gives you a linebacker who not only is athletic enough to be a coverage linebacker, but, man, you can blitz him. He's a good run-stuffing guy. He's instinctual. He's fast too. And my question is, like, when he returns, who gets upended? I think there's a real debate to be had about that. Obviously, I think Alex Singleton played well against the Jets. I think Justin Sternad has been very, very good this season at linebacker. And it's like, I want to imagine that maybe it's Justin and Dre, or if Dre's coming in, do they keep him on a pitch count? Do they rotate these guys? I don't know. I think Sternad has played so well, though, since he has stepped into the starting lineup.
No, I'm totally with you too. I'm trying to remember. Is Alex a captain, Singleton?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, that makes it a little harder. But granted, still injured. I know he can play, but the fact that he's had broken thumbs in multiple weeks, I'm like, oh, brutal. But it'll be interesting. I'm excited. Hopefully Dre does go from limited to full today. Are there anything else, though, that you're really looking at for this Giants team that concerns you more than the running back and the quarterback play?
Their defensive line. I think their defensive line is very good, very aggressive. They have very good linebacker, Bobby Okereke. I mean, he's a tackling machine. So they're going to probably try to come out and try to stop the run here from the onset. That's probably going to be their focus, and then that's going to put some onus and some pressure on Sean Payton and obviously Bo Nix to be effective and efficient inside the passing game, which, look, go to the quick game. I mean, even Bo yesterday at the press conference was telling us, he likes the quick game because then it allows the defense – like, they know what the offense knows what they're running, but it doesn't allow the defense to get set or to understand or try to read what you're doing. And so that's one thing that Bo said that he liked. Sean kind of downplayed it and said, we have quick game, but it just depends on the personnel. And I'm like, you know what? Like, why don't you just go with what works? Like, what is your quarterback like? Do what your quarterback likes. Run the football as well. I mean, it sounds simple. I know the execution of everything is not as simple when you're going against 11 other players, on the other side that have their own unique stunts and packages that try to counter what you want to do. But I would say that the defensive line of the Giants is something I'm not anxious about. I'm like, all right, this is definitely going to be a matchup that's going to present a little bit of a challenge for them.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, too, that Sean says, they have Bo, like, dot plays that he feels super comfortable with. And then Bo's like, I don't want to dot too many plays because I want him to be super comfortable. Otherwise, they're going to run it. And I thought that whole idea, I guess I've never thought about it, is really interesting. A little peek behind the curtain, which we don't get very often. I thought that was like such a cool storyline. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is. And
is that normal? Like, obviously, I've never played quarterback. So is that like a normal thing?
I mean, I feel like if you have a good head coach, if you have a good organization, it's not – we always say it, like, even as a former coach myself, and we always say it's not about the, X's and O's. It's about the Jimmys and Joes. It's about who you have. You can run all these crazy stuff, but if you don't have the personnel that maybe it's like a strength of theirs to run, like if you're running things that are not your strengths as a team, then it's pointless. You're shooting yourself in the foot in that regard. No, it is nice to know that they have these plays that are like, hey, these are our comfortable ones. These are our bread and butters. I'd like to see a little bit more of it, from time to time. But I think that they're getting there. You just have to hope that at this part of the season, we're going into week 7, Rach, and the challenge, I think, is can you find a way to just be more consistent? I think that's all that we're asking for. I think that's all that the fans are asking for. They just want to see more consistency from the offense.
Feel like this team has an identity. Like we talk about it every single week. What do we think this team's identity is? We still haven't really figured it out because we haven't seen back-to-back weeks where they've been successful doing one thing. So it's hard to figure it out. You had to say right now, I mean, their defense is their identity. They're keeping them in the games constantly. Back-to-back defensive player of the weeks. Nick Bonito last week, Jonathan Cooper this week. Awesome. Such a crazy good duo that's so fun to watch. And I love too that Nick in the locker room yesterday was giving Jonathan Cooper like a little bit of, hey, I should be getting a little bit of credit for this too. I'm making him better in practice, just being locker room guys and having fun with it. But that shows the chemistry in the locker room that I love as well.
Yeah, these guys are all brothers away, on the field, away from the field. They all do stuff together here. Someone who's probably not getting talked about or not getting as much credit as I feel like he deserves. Like obviously Nick and John are doing so damn good off the edge, and teams are starting to focus on them. But those guys are seeing opportunities a lot because of Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers. These guys at various times are eating up double teams, and sometimes we're seeing Zach Allen triple teamed, and it's leaving one-on-ones. And, I had a chance to talk with Zach in the locker room yesterday, and he was just telling me, he's like, it's at the beginning of the year, I was trying to figure out, like, what's going on? Like, how come I'm not able to impact a game as much as I was last year? And he says, well, I looked at it this way. It's like, all right, if I'm seeing extra attention, I know that John and Nick are going to go through and win their one-on-ones. He says, like, if I get a one-on-one, I know I'm going to win it. If JFM gets a one-on-one, I know he's going to win. He says, we just have dogs on the defensive line and our pass rush. He says, we just have a unit full of dogs. And so now he's excited about that. Cause I feel like people are like, oh, Zach doesn't have as many sacks this year. I was like, just watch the tape and watch. I think that Zach Allen is the motor of the vehicle that is this Broncos defense.
Could not agree more. No, honestly, and when you watch the tape, it is amazing that he is not just like asleep for 48 hours after the game, because I can't imagine the physicality he has to take going after every single play and the energy. And I mean, everything about it is 100% there. Every single play, he's so fun to watch. And I totally agree with you. I think that he is the motor that is allowing this defense to stay going. And I love, too, he told us in the locker room yesterday, he was like, if there's individual success, it means there's team success. And I'm like, I cannot agree more with that statement.
No, I mean, he's got the right mindset, too. And look,
he's such a good dude.
He is. I really enjoy chatting with him. Like, we'll talk football, we'll talk live. He's just such a fun, laid back dude.
Yeah.
Sometimes you meet some people in football that are like super serious football, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But Zach, I feel like, Zach takes great pride in his job and what he does. But Zach is also like away from football, just a laid back, calmer human being than we see him as a football player, which is nice. But I mean, the one thing about Zach, I think that stands out to me is just like, from the very first play of the game, you watch him, 110% effort and intensity. Yep. Play number 50 defensively, it's the same exact energy. Like, this guy has the best motor I've seen in a player in quite some time.
No, I could not agree more. I'll never forget when he signed his extension. Like, he's a pretty, like, dry type guy, right? So I was like, oh, this is going to be a boring press conference. He gets up there, and he is so funny, just, like, cracking little jokes here and there. And I was like, oh, okay, you're just a dry sense of humor. Like, you come into work, you're going to do work. But if we sat down at a dinner table and all hung out, I'm like, I have a feeling you would be making everybody laugh at the dinner table.
Yeah, well, it was funny, too. Like, this was an offseason where we heard a lot of the defensive players, when Zach got paid, they were like, cha-ching, cha-ching. Nick got paid, cha-ching. Like, everyone's just saying, like, this is such a fun unit to watch, and I that's exciting. And I think when you add Dre Greenlaw back into the mix, I mean, we've seen him at practice, even in training camp when he was participating. This dude just brings a different level of juice that the Broncos simply haven't had at linebacker in quite some time. There was something I wanted to touch on because I felt like this was awesome. I have a story to share, but like, what did you think of Cortland's presser yesterday? Obviously, talking about Demaryius Thomas, the tradition at DT kind of passed off onto him.
Okay. Well, first of all, Wednesdays are so hard, especially, and you know this, like doing a wrap up on a Wednesday, there are so many storylines that come out of it. I feel like I never have enough. I loved the story that Cortland about DT and the donuts. Saturday
Yes.
donuts. I didn't even know this was a thing, right? Of course, we always get Leggy. He's got these little ESPN tidbits, and I was like, okay, thank you for asking this. But he shares this amazing story about how DT had told him to go pick up these donuts on Saturdays, and he's like, oh my gosh, he's carried that tradition on even to now. And so every Saturday he goes and picks up these donuts and takes it in, and a lot of the guys on the team don't even know where the tradition started from, but was originally from DT, which is just amazing. And I'm so glad they're going to celebrate him this weekend. I'll never forget being at the game after DT passed, right? And all of the players are on the sideline going over to the number 88, the whole Cortland Sutton thing. Like, there's so much emotion tied to DT that I'm excited to see it this week too. Like, shine, I don't want to say like a brighter light because it makes it seem like there was such a dark cloud over that weekend, but like just in such a different light this weekend. I'm really, really excited for it.
Yeah, it just means that his legacy is going to forever live on inside, the Broncos stadium. I know they're going to build a new stadium. Whoever played, if you're in the Ring of Honor, it goes with you wherever stadium you're at. But DT at Empower, man, he was such a fun player to watch. And I wrote a story, because the donut story definitely resonated. It's cool that he's carrying on that tradition. But I feel like Cortland Sutton, when you look at him, he carries on how Demaryius Thomas lived his life as a football player, as a man in his day-to-day. And the one thing I'll say, like, my first ever experience, emerging onto the beat, the Broncos drafted him, 2018. I go to that training camp, right? Case Keenum's now the new quarterback. And I'm at training camp. I'm watching practice. I'm watching the wide receivers go through Indy. It's Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. These guys are going through the drills first with Zach Azzani. Then they come off, and then they're watching the young guys, which, was Cortland at that time. You had Benny Fowler, I still think, on the team, and then Deshaun Hamilton, who they drafted later on as well. And so you had these veteran guys, and anytime you draft a guy like Cortland or you draft a guy like Deshaun, the idea, like the thinking, the business side of it is, these are going to be the eventual replacements of DT and Emmanuel. Yep. Now, Deshaun, unfortunately, dealt with injuries and things like that. That kind of derailed his stuff. Yep. Cortland, though, I'm watching DT. When Cortland and Deshaun, these young guys are coming off of Indy, he's going up to them and he's giving them little tips and tricks as to, it could be something as little as, what he does that works best when he's getting, press cover corner, what is his release off the line of scrimmage. And then you go to find out that Demaryius and, these other guys, they take care of these young guys. Like, they took care of, Cortland and when they were rookies. You always go out to these dinners, and sometimes the biggest bid is to go out there and run up the tab as much as you can. Yep. Okay, rookie, you're paying it. They didn't do that to They didn't do that to Cortland or any of those guys. Yeah. So while Cortland is carrying on the donut tradition, Cortland also has taken it upon himself since 2018 to be the leader of this team. Yep. In 2022, I talked to, Broncos wide receivers, talked to Jalen Vigil, an undrafted guy, at the end of the year, right? And I asked them, what these veteran receivers have done. And they'll say, we go out to dinner, they don't stick us with the bill. Like, they take care of us. Like, they take care of us in the meeting rooms. They give us these tips and tricks just because we know the NFL is a business. It's about, you could eventually be replaced by a younger guy because as you get older, and you need a new contract, everything just kind of changes. And maybe the team is going to go younger so they can get more cost-friendly stuff. These young guys are like, these guys, they take care of us. They look out for us. They don't haze us. That to me is so important. And DT did all that stuff for these guys. And so to see Cortland carrying on that legacy, I think just away from football, I think is so important as well.
I love it. I love even Cortland's energy, right? He gets up on the mic yesterday and he's just like, okay, like, is anyone going to say anything? Kind of cracks a little joke. Somebody says like, hey, Cortland, what's up? And he's like, there it is. Like, just such a happy guy. And I do feel like you see the old videos of him and DT on the field, like cracking jokes, and it just makes you happy to watch that. So I'm very excited for this weekend. I'm super excited for the Super Bowl 50 team to be back there as well. And I just think that there's such a good foundation for the Denver Broncos team from the old teams. I know we're always like talking about moving forward, right? That's why they didn't bring guys like Von Miller back. Like, it's a new quote unquote generation, but you also have to give props to the generation that was before them because they laid a pretty good foundation. So I'm really excited for this weekend. I think it's going to be a little emotional, but I do think hopefully the Broncos get a win and everybody's able to celebrate such a special weekend.
What a better way to put on in front of, obviously, a Super Bowl 50 team, that brought a championship to the city of Denver. We all know a lot of the defensive guys, except Von won't be there. Yep. A lot of those defensive players from that team will be there. And this defense that Denver's got right now, they're playing at such a high level. And I was always thinking of this too. Like if you could, Rachel, let's say maybe add a player to that Super Bowl 50 defense from this current team.
Oh, okay. So not a player from the Super Bowl 50 to this defense, the other way around.
Right? Because I mean, it's tough because like I want Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper to be on that, but they'd be behind Demaryius and Vaughn.
Yeah.
Aqib is great. Chris is great. But it's like, all right, I would somehow have Pat Surtain with that squad if I could. Who would you take? And then maybe we could flip it up vice versa. If you could take one player from the Super Bowl 50 defense and put them on the Broncos, who would it be?
This is a really tough question.
It's fun,
right? Because all the quote unquote legendary players from that team, you also have a really good player on the side. I'm gonna go with play is not relevant here because they're all really good players. But yes. I loved Aqib Talib. I thought you never knew what you were going to get from him. I loved the sassiness, the Michael Crabtree drama. I am here for it. I loved it. I ate up every second for it. I would bring him back and replace Riley. Like he was so good. I'm sorry. I just have to say it. Like he was just so funny every single week. I never knew what I was going to get from him.
Yeah, no, I think Aqib would be a great one. I mean, if you could go back and get prime Von Miller, great. But then it's like, I like the way that Coop and Bonito are playing right now.
I love this duo. Like they are so fun. I'm sorry. I
don't think I would. I don't even think I would put Derek. Like Derek Wolfe was awesome. Yeah. I don't think I would put Derek Wolfe on this D line. I love what Zach and JFM are doing. Like it's the new school, right?
I'm trying to think if I had to flip it the other way around, who I would take.
Okay, maybe linebacker. Okay, if we had to do it the other way around, I would put Brandon Marshall and Danny Trevathan on this defense.
Okay, fair. Yeah. No, fair. I agree with that move. That would be a solid move to this defense. I don't think it doesn't drastically improve the current defense, but like there's still a little step up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you were to add someone from Denver's Super Bowl 50 offense, which wasn't the greatest that year, if you had to add one player to this current Broncos offense,
who would it be? You're going to hate me.
Who is it?
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I mean,
that's such the easy one, but he is such a go hard guy, right? Like he had his routine down. You always knew if he was going to get the ball in his hands that he was going to try and do everything in his power to make something happen.
You know what I think?
It would just be Peyton.
I think Peyton would also not be afraid to stand up to Sean Payton.
Oh, yeah. And Sean would respect the hell out of him.
I mean,
although I do think Sean enjoys having a younger QB.
It is, yeah. And I like that Bo is willing to give it back at Sean. Like that's.
I know. I agree.
That's the number one thing you need. Like, because sometimes the quarterback sees things a lot differently sometimes when he's the one that's actually out there. You know, Sean is seeing like things and he's getting information from up above, but it's like I'm seeing this and this is why I went to it, you know. Yep. But they have that good relationship. They have the ability where Sean will rib Bo will rib Sean. People are like, oh my God, look at the sideline interactions. It's like not a big deal. Big nothing burger.
Plus it is loud down there. We all know that. Yeah. I'm sure you do have to yell a little bit, but like extra loud because it is loud.
I would add Emmanuel Sanders onto this offense. I mean, like if I could add DT, I totally would. But like Emmanuel Sanders, I would add him.
He's such a dog too. He's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay. My question though is this Broncos defense going to be better than the Super Bowl 50? If you had to put your money down right now.
Like regular season wise?
Whole year, wherever they go. I know this team probably not going to win a Super Bowl, but
it's so damn tough. Like, let's talk hypothetical. Sean loves hypotheticals as he made it. No, he was a little grumpy yesterday in the presser.
He was. Granted, we all know he's not going to answer questions about injuries, and
I just love that he's now like firing back on hypotheticals.
I know,
which is great. I kind of like it. I kind of like grumpy Sean sometimes. For me, okay, I'll give this hypothetical. If this Broncos defense, once again, like they had set a franchise record in sacks last year with 63. They're already 33 away from that. They've already got 30 on the year, which is nuts. Sicko mode there. If they somehow, let's say they won the Super Bowl and they broke they had, more overall sacks, then I would say, absolutely. Okay. I think it's harder to play defense in today's NFL. And the Super Bowl 50 defense those guys would get fined and suspended almost every other week for how they played. Like, it was just a different physical era of football,
Yeah.
and the NFL won't let these guys play like that anymore. I'm so glad we got to watch really the last of like where you could actually play physical, violent football.
Yeah.
And somehow this Broncos defense is recreating that a little bit, but you can't do it to the extent like the no-fly zone did, where Aqib Talib in the Super Bowl's grabbing dudes by the face mask and like he's like, I'm setting the tone. That's one thing. Like, I'll never forget that story he told TJ Ward. He said, I'm setting the tone because all the Panthers players before the game tried to go up and try to talk to them and dap them up and be all friendly. He was like, we're not having that shit.
See, he is just so fun. Like, that would never happen in today's NFL. You are so right. And I remember Chris Harris Jr. talking about the Hufanga where he like threw the guy down. And he's like, you can do that, but you got to do it early on. So it's not penalizing you and not a big deal, at the end of the game. But he's like, we used to do that kind of stuff all the time. I'm like, I love that sort of football. And you're right. The NFL has cracked down on it. But Aqib Talib was just that guy, and he was a shit talker in the locker room. Like, I would add him in a heartbeat. I really would.
He's like, if he's not on your team, you'd hate going against him, but if he's on your team, you freaking love him.
Yep.
That's how I feel about Aqib. And he's funny. He's funny as hell too. He's just naturally just a funny guy. The whole, like, he's got the same agent as me, so when I see his ass in Atlanta, I'm gonna beat his ass. I was like, all right, him and the Harry Douglas situation, that was great. I mean, he's got
no. How I'm so sad I wasn't in the media during those years.
I probably would have never been able to hold it together. I probably would have been cracking up. I love it though.
Oh, I would have too. I'm sure everybody in the locker room was though. What year did you join the beat?
2018.
Okay, yeah.
I think. Let me see if I still have the sound. I have a sound bite from Aqib Talib, and shout out to obviously Rob Mackey, for trying to get this answer out of Aqib Talib about like their game plan and whatnot. Here, let me find this real quick. It's under my ringtones, I believe. Aqib Talib. Yep, here we go.
Our plan was to do what we do. We do. That's what we did.
I was like, all right, there we go.
See, he's just like such a gem. I think he's funny. I know there was a lot of drama the past couple of years with his brother, but I'm sad that he wasn't going to be. I think it was Amazon that he was going to be a part of.
He was on the NFL Network track. He was set to be on the Amazon broadcast, and I had honestly nothing really to do with him. It's just you have to separate yourself from a little bit from the optics of that. He's a tremendous. Like, I think he's a tremendous media talent. I don't like that he's partnered up with Skip Bayless, though, of all people. That just.
Yeah, fair.
I don't care about Skip.
I love how we spent a majority of this podcast reminiscing on Aqib Talib because there were so many good moments.
Hey, at least we're going to see him this week, and that's going to be fun. Maybe we'll get an interview with him. We'll see.
True. Is there anything else that when you look at this Giants team against the Broncos? I guess my biggest thing is we learned last week if you can stop the run, the offense is going to struggle for this Broncos team. So how do you counteract that to make sure that you can keep moving the ball?
Well, I'd say a commitment. I'd say just how you approach the running backs, how Sean does this week. I'm curious to see. Mm-hmm. Give JK a series, and then the next series give RJ a series. Yeah. You have to, like, and Sean was asked about, like, level of trust with RJ, and he's like, it's good. But it's like, show us that. Show us, like, you say it's good, but show us that. Like, go out there, and I understand, like, you don't want to mess up the flow and rhythm, but like when JK has a 6-yard run and then you're pulling him out on the very next play, putting someone else in, it's like he just had the hot hand. Like, you have a 6-yard run, keep feeding it, and go up tempo here. I mean, that's the thing here. So I hope they get the series stuff figured out with these backs. I think that's the one way to get the run game going. I think if they're giving one guy 1 or 2 carries, pulling him off, and then going with someone new, I think it ruins everything. So find a consistent rhythm and stick with it.
Stick with the hot hand, even in the passing game, right? If Troy Franklin's going to go off, keep feeding him. If it's going to be Cortland Sutton, keep feeding him. If it's going to be Pat Bryant, I would love to see that. Evan Ingram, like, stick with the hot hand regardless, both sides. And then make sure that Jackson Dart and Scatterboot I don't even want to see him in the highlights, all right? I don't want any of that to be featured next week. Let the Broncos defense shut them down. And I feel good. If I had to guess, I'm not going to be on Saturday's episode with Cody, but if I had to just make my prediction for this Sunday, I'm going 24-17 Broncos.
I like it. That's a good prediction. And you know what? I'm going to stick with that. I think the Broncos will win. I think we're going to see a 28-14. 28-14. I think that the Broncos are going to play. They're going to play big with Peyton Manning, that Super Bowl 50 team, that defense that's going to be there. I feel like they're going to rise to the occasion a little bit. Jackson Dart. I mean, even Jonathan Cooper said it in his presser yesterday. He's like, he likes to run around a lot. He's got a chain, and he likes to dance. I feel like the defense is like, we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay, can we just real quick talk about the chains? I despise the fact that they're allowed to wear whatever jersey or jewelry they want. It bothers me to my core, and you know why I think it does? Because it bothers me when I can't think of his first name right now. The Sanders brother with the freaking watch.
Oh,
like I always have that memory in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we gonna see some guy walk out there and like flash his chain? I don't know, but it bothers me.
That's why Aqib Talib was invented, so he could snatch chains. Like, to see, it's perfect. If we could have Aqib Talib play this week, you know what he'd do? He'd snatch that chain from Jackson Dart.
Oh my God. If there was one player on this Denver Broncos team that would do it, who do you think it would be? I don't think any of them would. I don't
think any of the defensive players do. Like, they're all nice guys. Like, they're not
great guys.
I mean, they know they have a switch, but it's like the only way I can see them do it is if somebody is talking reckless to them.
Yeah.
I just can't
but
see
I don't even know
up and ripping the chain off
of
somebody.
Just go up there and yank it.
Here's also a thing. Like, I don't understand like why you'd wear a chain, because I mean, a lot of these chains that these guys are wearing are expensive. What if you lose? Like, what if you get hit? It gets yanked, or like you lose diamonds. Like, and I understand these guys get paid a lot of money, but it's like, that's a lot of money to just try to replace. Like, hey, I just lost like these, whatever carat diamonds in my chain. It's like, why do that? I wouldn't risk it. Like, for me, I'd be like, there's no way I'm going to risk something that I spent that much money on, like potentially losing it or breaking it or something happening to it. I just couldn't.
I could not agree more. Plus, I literally can't imagine. It's got to be heavy. Like, when they wear the big giant crosses, I'm like, that has to be a lot of weight on it. Also, I can't believe nobody asked Bo Nix about being a dad with Izzy being pregnant. I was shocked.
Yeah, well, I mean, typically
he's
the
so
usual
serious.
suspect.
It's hard to.
I'm surprised the usual suspect didn't do it. So,
although, can we talk about the usual suspect who did ask?
Oh God.
Oh my goodness! If only we could explain all of these things to all of you guys listening. We appreciate you though every single week joining us here on the Orange Crush Podcast. Literally, I'm being totally honest. Cody and I do have no script for this show. We just come on here and talk, and it is so fun. And we hope you guys enjoy it just as much as we do. Cody will be solo on Saturday.
Yeah, depends on the schedule.
Oh.
We may not. We just may keep it Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, okay. Easy enough.
It just depends. We got a lot of family in town, so I mean, I don't have my office. It's gonna be crazy. So
fair. Cody's got family in town. I got family in town.
We got aftermath on Tuesday. The aftermath of the game.
Our therapy session, and it better be a good one. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know what we should do? We should open up like a voice, like a Google Voice mailbox, so people could send in their thoughts or questions, and we could play the best ones here on the show and react to it as well.
I love that idea.
Might have to do that. I'll look into it. I'll talk to the powers that be.
Listen, I tried to get Orange Crush sodas to everybody. Don't think it's going to happen, but maybe you and I will chug one like the good old days.
We'll have one in honor of the ones that we select.
Exactly. All right, everybody. We will see you guys next week for a good old therapy session. Make sure you follow both Cody and I on social media. We'll have you covered for Bronco game day on Sunday, and hopefully the Broncos are getting a win. We'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.